to my hellhole, my shop. It's also my garage. You can tell it's full of unfinished, barely begun, or likewise projects. It's been rough for the last year to get anything done. Always interruptions, whether it's been health issues or just working a lot. I mean, you get 6-7 hours a week to do anything other than your job and sleep and eat, spread out through 6-7 days. You don't get a whole lot done. And most of the time you don't clean up afterwards either. I mean, half of the mess in this room is things that are hastily thrown back on a counter somewhere until I can get to it later. And later never comes. But anyway, I thought I'd get a little video going here and try to record some of the projects in motion and catch everybody up on where we're at. Discuss some things that are coming up, discuss some wild-haired ideas that I've had, and see where we can go from there. As much as I wished I was one of these 10,000 plus subscriber, 15,000 plus views people that could afford to cut back on their other job schedule, it's not me. So you'll have to bear with me on the one-man production here and the very limited time schedule. Today is a beautiful Sunday. It's a lot more like late April than early March outside, but we still have the March winds. So we'll be going outside in a few minutes and talk about some projects underway, and got some things around here I want to talk about. So anyway, this is a start. So it's another beautiful day in Wyoming. Lately, it's been more like April than beginning of March. Today feels more like late April than the beginning of March. Another project I started on there, making stools out of these big old stumps, epoxying the top of them. I have to sand that one down and re-epoxy it to finish it. The other three look pretty good. And there's Sarge. One of these days I gotta make another tab for that corner right there, because you can see how it's flexing when I have the panels up, because I only have 2 tabs. Well, I've got a third one that that came with these 2 tabs, and I've got that one that I found in the parts of the one upright and bow I had, and all the benches and things that came with Shrek or 7-ton, but it's not quite long enough. I just need to get this finished up so that it's better. Of course, last summer I didn't finish painting and replacing the decals on the back of Sarge. I did get the front though, and that is a heck of an improvement, because the stars were all cracked and splitting and peeling off, and it was nasty. But the new top that I got in 2020 is really holding up well. I'm happy with that. And had this out driving yesterday. It was a little cooler. Cooler is definitely better for these vehicles. I can see why they were not appreciated when they came to issuing them in Vietnam, because I put the ignition coil right next to the exhaust manifold. As soon as the engine shuts off, the ignition coil overheats and then it stops making spark. And that's in addition to old mechanical fuel pump vapor lock issues that were common with pretty much every vehicle in the 60s. But anyway, I got an electric fuel pump in there a long time ago, and that cured the vapor locking, but I think I'm going to try to build a little heat shield to go around the distributor so that the coil, which is in the distributor, doesn't get harmed by heat when it's just sitting and the fan's not running anymore. Anyway, here's Shrek. Haven't done a whole lot of mods to him this year. We're obvious reasons. Hope the wind noise isn't too bad. Watch my mic thing there for a bit. Seems like it's picking up some. Hopefully I'm getting picked up. Finally got all of my lighting issues resolved, so reliable blinkers, reliable brake lights. That was a long time in coming. Finally got interesting thing here. Let's see if we can see it. See how my tires are wearing? Got the little sculpt there, and they're just weird pattern. These Goodyear tires are a lot cheaper to run, to buy, but they don't last as long as the Michelin's, because this is a brand new tire that I put on this vehicle, and these are used Michelin's back here, and you can tell there's a lot more tread left in these things. See if I can shoot my finger in there, and they're just holding up better. So, but these things cost twice the price of the Goodyears, so there we are. Yeah, and I had a little diesel leak. Got an extra tank in the back, and cap was no good. Pain in the butt, expensive as that fuel is, but it's under control now. See, I got my colors on my glad hands renewed, so I can remember which ones are which. These are the interesting lights. I have the bright white ones hooked into the backup lights, and then these are hooked into the manual flasher circuit and directly into the brake switch. So I have these will come on as brake lights, and these will come on like brake lights. These are wired through the blinker and everything that was unreliable until recently, and this, like I said, is wired directly off the switch. So backup, I guess, redundancy. And there's our my wife calls it private. It's a 3/4 ton trailer that goes with Sarge. Here's my other project that I've been having a hell of a time getting any work done on it. Motor, spun a bearing, had another motor, put another motor in it, spent all kinds of money on upgrading intake and exhaust and everything like that. And in the 2 years it took me to do all that, the motor seized. And meanwhile I was sitting in my driveway, and they were brush hogging the ditches across the road, and apparently I found a very interesting metric bolt in the back seat of my truck and a broken window. So yeah, anyway. And then of course here's, as my wife called it, donkey. There's the winch, and that's the first of 2 battery boxes I was building on it so that I could put the batteries on here, and then I'll put a box frame up there that'll hold the solar panels over the top of the tire, keep the tire out of the sun, and that'll become a recovery winch for picking up trailers, or picking up vehicles on our trailer. There's my Chinese tractor that I periodically work on, because occasionally we actually have snow. This year I haven't had to use it for snow at all. And there's the fire package for that goes in the back of Sarge, should we ever need it. I need to get that thing spruced up because it's so dry here, as you can see in the distance. There's just no... Oh look, we have a neighborhood deer. See if I can zoom in on him. There he is. Anyway, so dry here. I mean, we haven't had hardly any snow, very little rain. It's just a mess. I'm afraid it's going to burn like crazy this summer, because we had a pretty good wet year last year. You know, this little barn here has another car in it that I need to I need to restore it. But it's covered in bags of insulation that, oh, look at the garbage that's blown in around behind this door. Isn't that nice? Huh. That's one of my dog food things, so obviously hasn't secured in the trash can. But as you can see in there, you can see it. I don't need to reach in there and turn the light on. This is my headache rack that I put into Sarge when I want to go get firewood. And there's the cover for private. And those are bags of insulation that would go into and there's all the assembly parts for it too, that would go into my shop if I ever get it built, which is laying on a pallet on our land, waiting for me to come up with a 60 by 40 concrete slab to put it on. Isn't that nice? It'd be nice to have a shop. Boy, would it be nice to have a shop. There's some extra parts. These came on tires I bought. Nobody seems to care or want them anymore. I've got this nice aluminum 20-inch rim with the CTIS on it, and this is a 20-inch steel rim. I got a 20-inch dry flat, in case you want to know what that looked like. Oh, they're complete. Got some 385/20 tires too, and rims that just came with lots of what I bought. But anyway, crawl up and show you what's going on the inside of the truck here. Hopefully this is in focus. Out of the wind here, so maybe I'll come across a little better sounding. But see, we got both comfortable air ride seats in place. Got started on the center console. You can see the speaker box that I built, and doing some carpeting for sound control in the back. It's really nice. Got one just propped up there right now, but what we've done so far has really improved it. I'm going to put in a little bit of a fake ceiling running across these bars on the roof to give it a little extra padding and sound control. And I need to build a little mount for our new radio that we have to put in here so that we can use it with our headset walkie-talkie stuff. Of course, there's our backup camera up there. You can sort of see it. Hopefully this isn't totally crap focus, but of course there's the CV and the stereo and our control panel for all the extra switches. Got some nice map lights that are far too bright. And then the original speakers that I put in before I drove this thing to Texas to get the trailer, which was a fun trip. Working on finding a steering adapter because I want to replace the steering wheel so I can get rid of the empty hole where the horn button would be. Finding horn buttons for these things is apparently a challenge I can't rise to. Anyway, I've got a brand new steering wheel, and I bought the wrong kit, and I've been working with the company, and hopefully I'll get the right kit here in the next couple months, and then I can have my nice brand new steering wheel. Interesting projects that I have done. As you can see, my wiper blade there is a little unusual looking. It's got electrical wiring on it. It's actually heated. If we had bad weather, if we had freezing rain or freezing snow, slush on my windshield, I can warm up my wiper blades so they are not affected by ice buildup. I have not had the chance. I've had them since summer. I have not had an opportunity this year to drive this vehicle time-wise. I mean, I fire it up once a week so I can take it for a short drive and make sure the rubber's good, and it's due again. But it's not, we just haven't had any kind of real weather. I mean, February we had the coldest day of the winter so far, negative 23 below here at the house. We also had the warmest day of the winter so far at 62 degrees, and those were 2 weeks apart. It's ridiculous, and no moisture to speak of. I mean, there's a little bit of groundwater, but it's just nothing like it should be for this kind of temperature at this time of year. My guard dog is busy chewing on. He's lounging because he feels like he doesn't have to guard me at this point, I guess. That's probably really out of focus. If I can fix that. There it is. Happy German Shepherd. Anyway. Try to improve the focus here. Can I? I'm going to quit here. As you can see here, I got some pieces parts lined up. There's our 28 volt / 24 volt diesel generator that I actually had to use it to get the Jeep charged up because I left the key on for a couple of months when I was having surgery on my hand, but it worked. Charged it up. There's the cable that I have for using the jump point. Really appreciate the person that put those together on eBay with the red and the black cables. I wish there was someplace around here where I could get red cable like that for other projects. But sitting on top of the generator are two big old batteries that go with that big old winch that are sitting on donkey. The winch is bolted on, but I got a whole box full of electrical parts, and this is the winch project over here waiting for me to finish it. I started on it, and then I had surgery in my hand in the summertime. I mean, I've got all kinds of neat things like lights that flash and yeah, so on and so forth. But solar panels over here that I'm going to make a little carrier for and use that to make a shade for the spare tire on my trailer, and then there's a box in there and controllers and switches and wiring, and of course the lights that I was talking about that will work with those batteries so I can pull a dead vehicle onto my very, very tall military trailer. Getting things 48 inches up in the air takes a bit of oomph, and sometimes when you're riding tractors and stuff up on there, it's kind of scary. And there is another thing that we've been playing with. That's my daughter and my wife's electric bicycles. I'm getting one that's supposed to be here Monday. This afternoon I'm probably going to borrow my daughter's white one there and go riding with my wife on the black one. Look at all this stuff over here. Underneath there's a generator, and over there, this is a new addition to the garage. Check out all of them shelving. One problem with the Pentax, it doesn't autofocus, but I'll try to get over it here. And as you can tell, I got welding bench there with everything piled up on it, trash can overflowing, and there's a pile of stuff that is yet to go through. Inherited a bunch of tools, and there's some of the more interesting tools in there that have been pretty rusty and needed cleaned up, but there is a ton of things in here that are started on and not yet finished. Like this came out of the maintenance kit or the basic issue kit for MK, I think it was a 29 or 28, I don't know, it's a snatch block chain. Quite the massive piece of boat anchor chain there, but anyway. And yeah, we got interesting things over here. Sorry if it gets a little dark, but this is me stockpiling all of my stuff, getting ready for this year's projects on the Trek and Sarge and Donkey. You can see right there, that's new oil filter and oil, and I'm going to try out this hub oil. Hopefully that's legible. Anyway, definitely out of focus. There we go. Anyway, I'm going to try that out on the hubs of a Trek. Got 4 of them there, so I'm going to do the back 4 with that stuff, and then I'll do the rest with the 80-90 weight spiked with the appropriate. There we go. Messing with the focus again. Oils. Anyway. Yeah, you can't tell, but there's a car back here. Behind the motorcycle and the other motorcycle. Finally got a tall windshield for that motorcycle. I've been so happy. And yet I have yet to ride it with that windshield because I haven't even finished putting it on yet. That's my BMW. So many things to do. Not enough time to do them. Yeah, you can't tell, but there is a car right here. I am going to have to post a picture of what that car looks like. That's embarrassing. Anyway, better get on to the next stuff here. See, I got an extra seat over here, and that came out of the driver's seat on Shrek, and I've got all kinds of things that I need to work on up here. So bear with me, and we'll see if we can get some better video with more accurate focus going on here shortly. This is a new thing I got from Northern Tool. They had the best price with the best shipping. It's a 15-gallon oil pan. Instead of having to hold the plug in the oil pan and kind of flex how it's hanging to direct the oil to hit my 5-gallon bucket, which, you know, works somewhat. Anyway, I can now dump the whole damn thing in one shot and roll it over and fill up my buckets up afterwards. I'm really looking forward to being able to use that here shortly. And like I said, there's my new oil filter and 15 gallons of oil. Well, it's actually 20 gallons of oil because that's mostly full in front there with the pump on it. Other projects. There is the new steering wheel. Isn't that pretty? And it comes with its own horn button. Try to get that on the picture there. Back up so it's somewhat in focus maybe. And other projects that we've got going on. Right here, heavy duty engine block heater. We are going to put an engine block heater in this Trek this year. So make it a little easier to start it up when it's below 20 degrees out, I hope. And I was trying to replace the light bulbs in my dash switches, because most of my dash switches have no lighting. They have power, the harness works, but the switches themselves are no good. So I took apart my winch switch, since I don't have a winch, and I broke the switch. So trying to get to replace the LED bulb in it. I've learned that I am not delicate enough to do that, so leave well enough alone. I managed to pick up a winch switch there, and I'm going to replace it with something that's commonly available, because you'll never guess what Oshkosh wants through the proper channels to purchase replacement switches. Any of the switches. I was floored. You know, anybody out there that wants to make some rocker switches for the various custom things that Oshkosh MK23 has on its dash panel, leave your name or whatever down in the comments, because there's a lot of margin. I could pay well for switches that have the functions that I need and still be able to buy 4 of them or 5 of them or 6 of them for what Oshkosh wants for one. So at any rate, one of these days when I get the luggage rack, well, it's not really a luggage rack, a tree guard for the cab built, which I started on and then had to stop because MRI issues and stuff like that last summer. But I've got additional lighting that I want to put on for side, front and back. Not so much for driving, but for when sitting still, you know, parked or whatever. So I got a lot of it actually. I think I forgot I had this box of lights already. Bought this box of lights too. No shortage of issues there. So, or lights there, issues definitely. Anyway, yeah. A week ago you couldn't walk in here, and there was just piled hip deep all over in here. The shelving unit, new tubs. I've gotten a lot taken care of. So it's still a little bit of a pain in the butt to walk around in here, but making some progress. My daughter's craft business. Some of her stuff is in here, and one of these days we'd like to get her own trailer. And got some extra bikes I'm going to have to sell pretty soon, because my wife's got an electric one now, and I believe that one right in front is my daughter Krista's bike, and she's got a nice electric bike too, and mine's right behind it, and I'm hoping that the electric bike that's supposed to arrive on Monday will be great too. So at any rate, yeah, you can tell there's no shortage of things to be done, and there is no shortage of cleaning to do down here. I mean, that plywood I've got, stacked up there is reserved for the cab of Shrek and building the rest of the center console. I'm trying to build a box that can be used for storage, have a seat on it, and then you flip the back down and you got armrests and cup holders and storage and stuff like that. It's coming along ultra slow because, you know, like I said before, 6-7 hours over a 7-day period, 20 minutes at a time sometimes. Doesn't really get much done. All the paint that I've got sitting around here. You know, can't really see it very good down there, but there's 2 gallons of OD green for Shrek and Caterpillar yellow on top there for touching up on the engine, and over in the here's the OD green for the Jeep and the thinner for it, and I've got boxes of, what is this stuff? Oh yeah, leather, carpet, vinyl, and here refinish, yeah, paint finisher. That's for another project that I haven't gotten to. That's what the blue's for too, and the white. And this over here, I was working on wood project, as you can see the leg screw yesterday. What is that? Oh, that's the base color for Nissan, yeah. Because over here somewhere there's a box with 2 gallons of clear coat in it, because my clear coat's peeling off my pickup, and I started cleaning it up. It's going to be last summer's project was to finish and redo the paint, essentially. Yeah, garage or driveway style, but it would look better than peeling clear coat, so maybe I'll get time to do that this year. I don't know. Been at my current position long enough, I get an extra week of vacation. So there's another thing that I need to use that I haven't gotten to. And the other project that I just mentioned, I have a 79 Volkswagen Gen 1 Rabbit that we're the second owners of, and it's got 111,000 original miles, and I picked up a center console for a cabriolet. My Rabbit over here is a base 2-door, and doesn't have many options in it, so I was going to put the cabriolet center console in there, which is going to involve a little bit of extra fabrication, and that would allow me to put in the gauges that are missing from the gauge package, you know, oil pressure, tachometer, and I can't remember if it was water temp or what, that the third, voltmeter, that doesn't have, it has a water temp gauge, but it doesn't have a volt gauge, so, at any rate, and it's in remarkable good condition. I mean, 111,000 miles for a Rabbit's half through its life, so it's in good shape, and I was also panel by panel repainting it. There's paint for that over here somewhere too. I can find it if I need to, I guess. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, it's doing a single stage paint white on that, so it's a white Rabbit. Anyway, got the original mud flaps off of it with the little Rabbit logo and all that jazz. And my stock of oil filters. I obviously expected to drive the Rabbit more since I have 3 oil filters for it, but that doesn't seem to be happening very much. So old cars are quirky, you know, 4-speed, doesn't really do high interstate speeds these days. I mean, everybody's going 85 miles an hour around here. 4-speed and a 4-cylinder like that, yeah, 85 is a little bit beyond its range. So, and they get so mean when you're going 65. You got to see the looks I get when I'm on the interstate with with my old M715. I mean, it doesn't do 60, okay? Just stop trying to make it do 60. Get off my butt and just go around. I mean, I'm not in your left lane. I'm not causing a problem. I will pull over and let you go by. But you don't have to be mean about it. It's vintage. It's going to go slow. It's what it does best. Anyway, enough time in the shop. Well, back in the garage again. left a message there for Chase at Edison Motors. I don't know if he'll take it up or not, but maybe someday he and I can work on something to maybe make a hybrid out of our MK23. Could be an interesting project. Definitely down the road from here. First, I got to see if I can swing the engine kit or the pickup kit and see if I can swing it for that whole truck. It'd be nice to have it back and running and actually refurbishing the truck so that it's a viable everyday work vehicle too. So that's an interesting project out there. The other thing that we've been working on is, it's been 4 years since I bought a Quonset hut, maybe longer. I still haven't got the concrete together. Gosh, it's been longer than that. Huh. Anyway, I don't even want to think about how long it's been. Anyway, so I got to get something going, way of storage, so I can get all that stuff out of my barn, because there's quite a few things in this garage that are like lawnmowers and the like that should be in the barn. And having them out of the way might make it possible for me to get the 1971 Spitfire that's behind the motorcycles in the garage back out so I can finish the rewiring that I'd done on it after rebuilding the motor. I would love to get a 5-speed for it, put that in there. It's kind of like the Rabbit up here. It was meant for a time when most people were driving 50-55, so now that everybody's driving 80-85, it's really outclassed on the highway. But yeah, we'll see if that even happens. I got a lot to do around here and spend all my time sitting in front of a computer screen doing projects for other people and having a negative effect on my health, but don't get as much activity, physical activity, as I need. But maybe that'll change. Who knows? It's kind of hard. Anyway, so I've been trying to buy a storage container or build a storage building or something on our lot over in Casper, and I think we're going to end up getting a storage container, because pretty sure I can get one of those 20-foot steel cans for less money than it would cost me to build a 10 by 20 storage barn, building, shop, whatever you want to call it. And the same amount of money to build a 10 by 20 will buy me an 8 by 16, 8 by 12, and there's quite a bit of insulation. I don't know that. I think an 8 by 12 would be filled to the very rafters with just the insulation, not the boxes of bolts and so forth that go with the Quonset hut. But yeah, that project's been going on for so long now. I'm afraid I'm never going to get to work on it. Coming up with the concrete money has just been the biggest challenge I've ever had in my life. I mean, it was $20,000 and now it's probably $30,000 for a 60 by 40 slab with rebar and all the other things that have to be put into it so we can attach our Quonset hut to it so that it doesn't end up becoming mistaken for aircraft, as I've said about other things. With all that being said, it'd be great to get that shop up. 60 by 40, 14-foot garage door so I can drive Trek into it. Place where I can put my 71 Spitfire and my 71 Triumph GT6 side by side and finish working them up and getting them all done. And be able to get Sarge and private and inside so that they're not sitting in the sunshine anymore. That's what kills things in Wyoming. The wind's bad, the hail's bad, but the sun just burns things to the ground. I mean, even our garden works better, grows better if we put up a piece of glass over where the plants are. It's just amazing, being at 5,000 feet plus and having, 355 days of average sunshine. The UV radiation just destroys everything that sits outside. Even, the way it weathers the asphalt shingles on my roof. I mean, if it, the wind's bad, the hail's bad, but the sun will just boil those shingles to little bits and pieces, and the gravel that's impregnated on the top of them will just blow off. It's amazing. So definitely would be good to have that Quonset up. Yeah, but another project that requires resources. Oh, and a lot of time, and time being the most finite of the resources that I have. At any rate, if anyone knows Chase over there at Edison, let him know that I was talking about him and hoping that he wants to take on the project of trying to replace the differentials, the centers on the axles that are already on the Oshkosh, because it has fully independent suspension, and it rides really nice because of that. And it would be kind of cool to do the gasoline hybrid, diesel hybrid conversion that like they do for their semi trucks to it, but make it 6-wheel drive. And it's just an interesting prospect. I mean, and maybe we could do 2 motors and just convert the first axle and have that one drive the drive shaft to the second axle in the rear. That'd be kind of interesting. I've got lots of ideas there. I mean, definitely want to have the front axle driven, but dropping from a C12 down to a C9 and having to only run it 50% of the time. As a soon-to-be retired traveling the world nomad, anything I can do to extend how long I can go on a tank of diesel is a great thing. And if I can combine that with the 24-volt system and the solar panels that I intend to put on the back of Shrek for the housing area, it just seems like a great idea. And, then there's, Sarge, our M715. In case you didn't know, it uses we have the military-style distributor on there with the military-style distributor spark plug wires and the military-style spark plugs. And it takes a unique spark plug. For the military ones, it's a one-off. It's commonly available as a civilian spark plug, but it's just a little bit different than what most people's MJs and old gasoline deuce and halves would take. So I believe those had a shorter nose, and these has a longer threaded part. So needless to say, those spark plugs are spendy as hell. Last set I bought cost me $200. Here it is. Here's one of these 6 $200 spark plugs altogether, $200. So yeah, the distance from here to here, if you can see that, is longer than it would be on an MJ. So I believe these are the correct plugs. They were certainly advertised as such and cost as such. But in case you ever wanted to know, that's what a military style spark plug looks like. Try to get this the right spot for the camera. See, it's got a different kind of socket on top. Basically got a piece of steel pipe lit over the top of the ceramic. And yeah, so I could convert the engine to a civilian plug and distributor, and I have one of those, and I actually have a spare engine for parts. Although in my wild harebrained ideas, there's 2 J series 3000 and 3800 Jeep trucks that have been parked for the last several years. And I think one of them has definitely no longer runs, and it's a flatbed 1-ton variety. And I keep thinking about that civilian distributor setup I have on the spare engine and thinking, I bet you that spare engine would go right into one of those Jeep trucks, and that'd be a cool project too, wouldn't it? So, keeping it around for Sarge is probably not going to happen very well because it's stored outside. It's wrapped up and everything like that, but last look at it, the wrappings were starting to give up the ghost because the sun was tearing them up. And I'm going to have to do that again. Kind of think it'd be fun to take our M715, and you know, the transmission and engine has a drive shaft to the transfer case, so you can put anything you want in front of that transfer case. Doesn't fix the gear ratio, which is incredibly low from the transfer case to the wheels, but yeah, you could put anything you want in there. And I look at these electric motor kits that they have for electric vehicles, and they're about the size of the transmission in that truck. And I could put the electric motor right where the transmission is, give or take. A little short drive shaft to connect it up to the transfer case. Use the transfer case to put it in neutral whenever I need to put it in neutral. Direct drive essentially from the motor into that transfer case, and it'd be easy to set up the regen on it, and it'd be easy to set up the drive on it, and then you could have the whole engine compartment, which, you know, that's a very large, physically speaking, 6-cylinder engine. So there's a lot of room underneath the front end that's probably going to lift in the air about a foot when an engine comes out, that could be occupied with batteries, controllers, chart regulators, dare I dream heat pump, and you could keep the existing radiator for cooling the batteries and cooling the engine and heating the vehicle, and use the heat pump too with that. And then there's these two large areas, probably cubes yay big. One of them's occupied with the exhaust system. The other one's occupied with the current gas tank. So you could put 2 boxes of batteries right there, right behind the cab, underneath the pickup bed, on either side of the drive shaft. And I think I could probably put enough batteries in that thing to get it in the 600-mile range. You know, I'm not looking for a 400 horsepower, oh my God, torque engine, because that'll just tear everything else up. So, yeah, you know, it's just an interesting idea. I mean, most of those electric motors will do 0 to 10,000 RPM, and won't need a transmission with that. Got the transfer case gear in it way, way down, so just seems like a good idea. And then if I convert MK23 into a hybrid, you know, the diesel generator on there, I could use that to charge Sarge. And now I've got an electric vehicle that will be really, really quiet, because it already is, to drive up in the woods and any place I might want to go. And I've got my hybrid living truck that I can pull my big ass trailer with my big ass M715 sitting on top of it, and go any place my big ass will fit on a road, or not road, as needed, basically anywhere in the world. And maybe instead of getting 6 miles to the gallon, I'll get 12 or 15 out of that diesel, you know, with the hybrid. But interesting idea. It's on the other side of a lot of time and money, unfortunately, but it's an interesting idea. And, you know, hey, if people out there want to help, if you think this is great ideas, I have a separate savings account that I put money in for projects like this that is never as big as the projects. And anyway, I'll put a buy me a coffee link in the description, and you can contribute if you feel like it. Or, you know, subscribe. Please subscribe. I'd love to get to that 300 mark. I'd love to get to that 3,000 or 30,000 mark. But hey, 300's a step, you know, and this is my 50th video that we've published. We've got a few shorts out there. Yeah, it's been 4 years since we started this channel, because we bought Shrek in 2020, and that's when we started the channel. And I've only got out 50 videos. I'm so sorry. I do get out to do more stuff. It's just hard to, really hard to do stuff, edit the video, and put it out, much less record it while you're doing it. I'm hoping that my wife's going to get more involved, but as you can tell, she's not involved in this video at all thus far, other than got her convinced not to come down the stairs while I'm recording, because, you know, it's built that stair set 20 years ago. First stair set I ever built. It creaks a little bit now that it's 22 years old, but it's still pretty strong. I could probably fix the, well, if I were to finish the stair set. Another one of those projects, it's functional. It needs flooring put on it, and it needs to be enclosed and made pretty, and it's functional, and that's as far as I've been permitted to get to it with time and all that sort of thing. And also, if you want to help too, this is from our t-shirt shop. This is for our Jeep. This is the heaviest shirt. I mean, this fabric is just unbelievable. It is so thick and comfortable and soft, and you can see the print quality. I mean, wow, this came out great. So we have other shirts in there. We have them for the M715. In fact, I think I could probably even put that up in the background here. Yeah. There's our home page. There's our store page. If you wanted to see some of the pictures that, we've shot along the way, there's some photographs on there and puzzles. And we have some other t-shirts on there that might be of interest to other people, but, it's, like I said, trying to find a way to fund all these great ideas that I have. I think they're great. Maybe nobody else thinks they're great, but I think they're great. And get out of the 50, 60 hour a week or 40 hour a week or whatever it works out to be, plus commute time and the fact that I work 50 miles from home, so might as well be at work at lunch because I'm just sitting alongside the road somewhere eating my lunch. Work week, it'd be nice to get break free of that a little bit so that I could finish some things, that finishing thing is a huge challenge for some people, and I am definitely one of those people. But anyway, I probably recorded far more video than I'm going to need to make another episode, and maybe I can tag some action shots on the end of this with the bikes or something. I don't know. Definitely going to put a picture in of the Spitfire from the last time I had it running, which was, oh my gosh, 2008. It's the last time I had it on the road. Before I rebuilt the motor, I like to say. It makes a great smoke screen when it makes an escape. Problem is the smoke blows away, the car's still there because it's not moving very fast. But on a wild hare, I loaded up my daughter Krista, and we went to, drove it from Douglas, Wyoming to Hewlett, Wyoming, and the Devil's Tower is outside of Hewlett, Wyoming, and went to an car show in Hewlett, Wyoming, and put the car in the car show. It was fun. That air show was an unbelievable and enjoyable thing. It was quite the event, and it's definitely a big day. And that was a big gamble with a smoking, oil burning 1971 Spitfire that had been sitting in a field for 20 years before I bought it. And I hadn't even rebuilt the motor. I just got it running and cleaned it up, and then we drove it. That's probably 400, 500 miles round trip, and but it was quite a day, and I would like to have more days like that. I had a lot more days like that. Since then, I've overhauled that motor in that Spitfire, put in quick ratio roller rocker arms, port and polish, fired it up the first time after rebuilding it, and it broke the mechanical tack because it accelerated so fast and went so high on RPMs that it just snapped that sucker right off inside the gauge. So part of the projects I need to fix on it is it doesn't have an operating speedometer, it doesn't have an operating tachometer, and I'd like to fix those things and a few other odds and ends. But yeah, it was running great. 2009, 2010, when it got it that far, had a job change, involuntary. People decided they didn't need the position anymore, so they gave me a severance package. And me being the kind of person I am, I tried to have my own business, which is a dumb idea for me. And so anyway, long story short, it got mothballed along with several other projects, and they've been there since. It's been 12 years. 14 years for some of them. I've got to get started on this stuff, it's overwhelming. It's filled up all the free space in my life. Physical free space. And we won't even talk about what it does to my time. Anyway,
But again, thanks for watching the videos. Thanks for those that have subscribed. Thanks for those that have liked them. I appreciate the conversations and promoting them to other people is very helpful. I hope that you'll find value in this video, and it'll make you want to subscribe too and be a part of our journey. And if we can get enough people interested, we can do other things. I mean, this is a very large head. It is full of very large ideas, and I have to work on tamping myself down. The things I would do if I could do, but thus far I can't. So, again, if you could subscribe, that'd be great. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.